We must no longer be children, tossed to and fro and blown about by every wind of doctrine, by people's trickery, by their craftiness and deceitful schemes. I'm quoting the Bible. Right? Who says the Bible doesn't speak into the reality of the world as it is today? Paul, in his letter to the Ephesians, invites us to push through the limitations of doctrine, to see past people's self-interest and our own, and to reveal the tripwires of trickery so we can discern the truth. Today's sermon is all about the truth. In our time together this morning, it is my hope that we will uncover the truth. It is my hope that by the end of this sermon, we will know the truth, and the truth will have set us free. What do you think of that? Right on? Okay. Free from what, you might be wondering? Well, the winds of doctrine, people's trickery, the stumbling blocks of deceitful schemes. It's a high bar, but is it impossible? Can we know the truth? Is there a truth? What is truth? That's a biblical question. Who asked it? Pontius Pilate, right? My working premise upon which to reveal this common truth is not built upon our common biblical literacy, but upon our inherent nature. For I believe that below the waves of this superficial world, a truth exists. Truth as binding agent. Truth with a name. And it is a name that we already know. Now here's the problem. In a world where people do not know the name of truth, there is no common path where we can meet one another. I'll give you an example of the problem. Some people in this nation believe that the attack of the U.S. Capitol on January 6th was a peaceful protest, even though we saw it with our own eyes, even though we know the names and the stories of people killed. There are some that claim that it was a hoax, and I think they're wrong. I'll give you another example. Some in this nation believe that Donald Trump was not shot in an assassination attempt. They believe that there was a little package of fake blood he popped behind his ear like an Agatha Christie character, even though we saw it with our own eyes, even though we know the names and the stories of people killed. There are some that claim it was a hoax, and I think they are wrong. Now, in saying both of these things, I probably have offended some people out there, hopefully not anyone in this room. Some may think that I've been brainwashed by fake news that seeks to perpetuate deceitful schemes. Some may think that I've been influenced by people's trickery and have been blown about by the winds of false doctrine designed for the simple-minded. Well, that might be true. But I believe it was a violent attack, and I believe it was a real attempt. And here's the thing. It is unlikely anyone can change my mind. It is hard to imagine a piece of information that could surface someplace given to me by somebody who would change my perspective. But in equal measure, it is unlikely I can produce any information that would change the mind of someone who holds the opposite point of view. You know. Because information, it seems, is no longer the ground upon which we can find a common truth, particularly in politics. But I submit this informational disintegration runs deeper than politics. Let me bring it a little closer to home, okay? I'll give you another example. Amanda, our community life pastor here, Amanda insists that it is important for an optimal workout to eat a big meal with a lot of protein an hour before you go to the gym. I, on the other hand, am convinced that 4 or 5 cups of coffee is all you need. Poor Amanda, despite her best efforts. Is there anyone in your life who holds an opinion that you cannot convince them of otherwise? Do I have an amen? Amen. Right? Is there anyone close to you who does a particular thing, who believes a particular thing, who says a particular thing about a particular thing, and you know it is flat out wrong, and you can't change their mind? And so you pull out your phone and you go to ChatGPT to prove them wrong, and you still can't change their mind. Because information, it seems, is no longer the tiebreaker that allows us to arrive at a common truth. And I submit that the disintegration runs even deeper. What about God? What about the church? What about the resurrection of Jesus Christ? Is there anyone in your life with whom you are not quite on the same page about those things? Amen? So I'm guessing a few of you say yes, right? Which gets to the complicated nature of truth, that it is not about information. It wasn't about information 2,000 years ago, and it is not about information today. So then you say, what is truth? How do we get there if it is not simply information? Well, let's return to Paul. Let's return to Paul, who's holding for us, it seems, this morning a thesaurus that's going to help us find some common language for this lived truth. The words we flip to are humility and gentleness. For these are the attributes that nurture the patience needed to bear with one another, irrespective of their point of view. And what happens when humility and gentleness are the guardrails we set for ourselves is that truth is revealed as the path upon which we walk. And as we walk upon this path, there's signs along the way. There's signs all over the place. And the signs name the truth. And the truth is named love. Right? Love is great. Love is the gravel under our feet. Love is the dirt under the gravel under our feet. Love is the gravity that holds the dirt and the gravel and our feet to this spinning planet. And you know who this gravity works for? Everybody. Right? Because love is a force. Because love is a presence. Love is like water that fish swim in. Love is like the air that lifts the falcon to soar. Love is the thing behind the thing. Right? Love is a binding agent. Love is the way. Love is the truth. Love is the life. Love's a name. It's a name we know for truth. And humility and gentleness reveal it and give it the power to transcend the limitations of information. You with me? Okay, so let's take a minute to look at both humility and gentleness. First, humility. Humility is the power to hear someone say something that we know to be false, and instead of thinking, how can somebody that smart think something that insane? Have you ever thought that? No. Instead of thinking that, we train to make room for humility to bubble up. To be reminded that we too believe something, that we too hold something to be absolutely true, that is actually not true at all. And we don't know what that is because we believe it to be true. but it's actually completely wrong. Is that the case for any of you? Maybe. So to recognize that love is all around us, that love is the water, it is the air, it is the path upon which we walk, to recognize the power and presence of love requires humility about our own truth, that indeed we may, possibly could be, wrong about something. Acknowledging with humility that we too are blown about as children, to and fro by every wind of doctrine, that we too are susceptible to people's trickery, that we too are subject to evil schemes. So remember humility when confronted with another's irrationality. Let their intransigence, in your opinion, be your invitation to push through with the pry bar of humility to reveal, then encounter the thing behind the thing. And the thing behind the thing is what? It's love. And then, after you've done that, employ gentleness. Gentleness is taking your time. Gentleness is moving slowly. Gentleness is pausing just for a moment. Gentleness is your posture when your spirit is engaging with the thing behind the thing. Gentleness is your bodily bearing when experiencing truth, when experiencing love, when experiencing the thing behind the thing. So I remember a long time ago now holding my infant daughter, Margaret. And she'd wake up in the middle of the night, and it was with gentleness that I would attend to her. Whether she was crying or not, it made no difference. Because it is so easy to access the thing behind the thing when you're holding a little baby. It's so easy to just let your body settle into the truth. And so when we do that, when we hold a little child, remember, it's like holding anybody because we're all children of God. We are all, everybody you've ever met in your whole life is immersed in the truth of love. And here's the truth about this love. While we may never change someone's mind with information, I'm completely convinced that we can change someone's heart through the practices of humility and gentleness. And so if we want to change the world, we don't develop a new chatbot. We practice humility and gentleness because it is love, only love, that's going to change the world. And that's a message that I hope you are willing to share with the world. Because as we arc towards November 5th, which is the presidential election, the propagation of love through the practice of humility and gentleness is going to be more and more important. And one way we at Epiphany are seeking to practice this love is through what we've developed right here. The communal exercise, the communal theology of relata. Because relata is our attempt to invite people to join us, to encounter the thing behind the thing by sharing a meal and by sharing our stories. And the beauty of a story is that they are not informational. They're reflections of the heart. And right now, reflections of the heart are the most wonderful way in which we can connect to one another past the limitations of information to encounter the deeper reality of love. Okay? You with me? Because now I want to invite you to help me out. I want to invite you to help us here at Epiphany create a really successful relata experience. And if you've experienced relata Sunday morning like we did a while ago, I want you to come again. It'll be different. And if you haven't experienced it, I'd love for you to come this fall. And please invite a friend. And if you can't come, tell a friend about it. Tell a neighbor, hand them a brochure. Amanda will give you one in the back after church. And make sure you ensure them, because this is Seattle, make sure you ensure to them that it is safe. It is not about doctrine, nor trickery, nor deceitful schemes. We are simply a spiritual center of gravity where souls gather who believe that it is love, only love, that's going to save the world.